slow.
Mr. Chancellor. All right, everybody, welcome to the September 22nd Facilities Committee meeting. I'm your chair, Chief Prado. I have my fellow committee members, Liz and Keith, Board President Melanie, our Business Administrator Drew, Mr. Mike, Director of Facilities and Operations, and our Superintendent, Dr. Alan Lynch. I'll look for the approval of minutes from August 25th. Start. Can we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Are you there?
Second.
Any questions, concerns, comments?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving right along. So let's dive into the summer projects and where we're at right now.
So the one that's still outstanding is the asbestos project. There's two things there, furniture delivery and casework delivery and installation. Furniture is actually getting shipped on Friday. It's going to the installer.
That's what we expected, right?
We knew the furniture was going to be right around this time, maybe a little more into October, so maybe like a week or two early, which hopefully that means the casework's going to be the same way. But the furniture, since we're in school, normally it would get shipped here, they build it all on site. Because we're in the middle of the school year, it's going to the installer. They're going to build it all off-site and then ship it to, we're going to figure out a day that works best to bring it all in. It may be a Saturday. We're going to, maybe a day that the students aren't in, we're going to try to work through that. But that's a good thing. The casework, I had a meeting last Friday. There were some discrepancies with the furniture, the installer, the supplier, and Barry Azat. There were some discrepancies on the drain lines and the electrical and plumbing. So I said everyone's got to get on site. We had a half day on Friday, so it was a good day to do that. I just saw all the drawings are approved, so I'm just waiting on ship date on that. That's going to be a lot tougher to manage than the furniture, because the furniture is obviously just take the old stuff out and we figure out what to do with it. The new stuff goes in. The casework's a major disruption to the classroom. So Frank, the high school principal, myself, a couple of other administrators are going to work through that, when the best time for that, once we know when it's coming, what the best time for that's going to be. If it means, we do it during a break, or, we move two classrooms for a couple days to, it's going to be a lot of moving parts there. So both things are still in the works. And yeah, the furniture, like I said, the furniture should be here a lot sooner than the casework. And as soon as I know anything on the casework, I'll let you guys know.
Is that what, the last we heard on that was end of November, the casework?
End of November, that's about right, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have an actual date on that yet.
All right.
Obviously, that's been the frustrating part of the whole project, so we'd love to just close that out and move on. And then the other one is the roof projects. They're all complete now. There were some skylights that were still outstanding at 4-5. And the couple days that they tried to do it, it rained. But they did get that in last Wednesday or the Wednesday before. So we're completely done on all roof projects.
Nice.
So the only outstanding item is the furniture and casework.
When you say all, you mean all the buildings? No. Or just
This summer's,
Yeah, summer's work.
just what was in the bid for this summer.
The Ds and the Fs.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking.
So it was two.
That's why I had to ask.
It was two full roofs at 4-5 Center. It was a small repair on Marlboro, and a small repair on High School.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Turf replacement discussion.
Yeah, so I've been writing that RFP for that at the direction of the board from last meeting. And I just wanted to circle back because I have some ideas on that. So I'm trying to write the RFP to do an apples to apples comparison, and it's very difficult because all these companies have different levels, different brands. And the one thing I keep coming back to is I really like Shaw. They're obviously who I put in at my old district. They're easy to work with. They're one of the best brands out there. The two really best for high school athletics are Shaw and Field Turf, in my opinion. Field Turf also has some litigation out there right now, which kind of, puts a damper on that a little bit.
Like
But
what? Like, just out of curiosity.
like, there's issues with it wearing faster than they predict. There's issues with installation. Basically, there's issues with, and again, this is all litigation, so it's not 100% one way or the other. But that they knew that there were problems with manufacturing and they still sold it. Do you know what I mean? So I asked Bobby to go and talk to his people in Montgomery County, and they all really liked Shaw and Keystone. Keystone is the company, the installer. They're the company that's been giving us our numbers. Because if we do an apples to apples RFP, my fear is the cheaper one is not going to be the best one, right? So the other option is to talk to Keystone, go directly to them, because they are on CoStars, and negotiate with them individually. And then we can obviously check their pricing, to make sure they're not, obviously not ripping us off, or, if they're in the ballpark of what it should be. But I think that might be the better way to go, if everyone's okay with that. Again, Shaw is a great manufacturer. Keystone is their installer in this area. So it's not like you can buy Shaw and have company ABC put it in. If we want to go with Shaw, it would be Keystone. They seem to be the major player right now in this area. That seems to be who's putting in most of the fields. Again, this is not something we have to do. It's just starting the conversation, because then what would happen is if you want to make the track blue, or if you wanted to design certain things, it might adjust the cost. So I just think that'd be the easier way to go, the better way to go, and I think financially it would make the most sense too. So if you guys are okay with that, I think we kind of pivot and go that direction, unless you guys have any thoughts, discussion.
I'm gonna need some clarification.
Okay.
So this RFP is for the turf, you just mentioned the track.
Well,
This includes the track too.
Well, the RFP, the way that we're doing it is both turf fields, the track, and the goalposts. But I'd also like that broken out. So I'd like a price to do all of it, and then a price to do one field, a price to do the other field, so we can pick and choose. I mean, we don't have to do any of it, right? We can say it's too much money, we're not doing any of it. But that's the way I always price things out, is you price the whole thing out, and then your alternates. So your alternate would just be Tribe, your alternate would just be Keeney.
Well, I understand that, Mike, but the first thing is, when you got the green light to do this, I'm sitting in the audience and I'm thinking it's just the main stadium turf, okay? That was my perception. Now you're explaining what you're doing, that's fine. Folks, remember, when the RFPs go out and the community catches wind of that, they're gonna expect something. This has happened before. And now we're starting to cry wolf. So something's gonna have to happen. So just be mindful of that. And so if we go ahead and replace the main turf, the next question will be, where's that money coming from? I'm not disagreeing that this stuff has to be done. It absolutely has to be done, but we better. This is what I'm talking about with the corporate sponsorship ideas and everything else. But once he sends out the RFPs, and that becomes public, get ready.
So Peg, we've had conversations about this, about corporate sponsorship and seeing what we can do. So I went back with the help of AI, I'll admit that. about 5 or 10 years looking in Bucks, Montgomery, and Berks County to see what schools have updated stadiums or scoreboards or turf, whatever, and which ones got help, either from corporate or from booster clubs. So I got a whole list. Like Neshaminy High School did a stadium renovation and scoreboard that was funded $50,000 from a booster or kids club donation, so that's something. Penridge did a turf and stadium improvement with corporate naming rights, and that wasn't disclosed what the amount was, but again, corporate naming rights. Quakertown Community School District, the high school scoreboard, corporate donation from St. Luke's, but again, no price mentioned. Central Bucks School District, these were various fields done, equipment, fences, baseball field improvements, booster club donations, and that was about $990,000. Methacton, there's 2 from Methacton, a multi-purpose field scoreboard and a youth soccer field scoreboard, both corporate donations, one from Concelli, one from JP Mascaro, $25,000 and $10,000. And then Wissahickon, equipment and dugouts for turf fields, equipment donation and monetary donations. That was from foundations and external donations, and that was about $102,000. And then, let's see what else. There's one in Boyertown, scoreboard. That was another donor, but it was unspecified what the amount was or who the donor was. And then I think there was Liberty High School is getting a new general purpose scoreboard. From their booster organization, they're getting $30,000 a year for 7 years from them. And that's just to say, it's out there. This is the kind of stuff we need to start doing. And we have companies in our area that are big companies. We have Miller Knoll. They have over $1 billion in revenue a year. We have Blummer, $750 million. Arrowhead Engineering has over $70 million. FIBA Technologies, $30 million. Walmart, $681 billion. CVS, $372 billion. Redner's, about $700 million. Sands, I think, was about $15 million. Wawa, $18 billion. Turkey Hill, $300 million. So,
Haynes Fieldhouse. Haynes
Yeah.
is already stepping up.
so this is, I think, what you're saying,
Yep.
what I'm saying, and hopefully the whole board is saying, like, it's out there. We have to go and ask and get help for this, because I don't think we can, even if we get a great deal on what we're looking to do, I don't know how we can say yes without any help.
And Mike, you're doing your job. You
Yeah.
go, right? I get it. We got to figure it out. And another question with the RFPs, are you going to include, and this might be a separate item, this might not even be an RFP, but if you remember, we talked about getting those game clocks put on the field for football.
Yeah, and that would be something that we would discuss with whoever the company would be once we got deeper into those discussions. Because I do think it makes sense to put them on the field, but at what cost? I mean, that is costly. I do think it makes sense to talk about putting electric on the field instead of running cords for graduation and stuff like that. I think, you start with just the fields, right? And then you manipulate the final proposal after that,
But-
If I come to you and you say, hey, we can only do one field, that's when we start, that's when we would focus and work that proposal, to kind of get what we need.
So to that end, just so I'm clear, if we were doing an RFP for the main stadium field, right, for Keeney, I'm thinking you're going to expect the RFP to include electrical hookups on that
Yeah.
field, right? Okay.
But again, it's not a one-size-fits-all, if we come down to it and we have the funds to just do the field, you know what I mean, then that's what, it's a bigger discussion once we get that proposal in.
Yeah.
But my thought again is to just go directly to Keystone and Shaw and start getting them to give us a proposal. They gave us budgetary numbers, right? But that is just kind of that doesn't do anything for us. We need a full-blown proposal. And again, it would be broken, it would be a full, how much it would cost to do everything at once, because there should be savings there. And then break it out of what the cost would be if we, piecemeal it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody denies that we've got to fix our stuff.
Well, and again, I'll just say it, I am concerned, we passed the GMAX this year, but there's no guarantee that it's gonna pass next summer.
Yeah, we just bought a year, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do something. It just
Yeah,
depends as a board what we decide we can do. And if we're going to really be aggressive about moving forward with this outside resource idea. I mean, most school districts do it. Last weekend, I went up to Schuylkill County and I drove past Blue Mountain High School, and there's their electronic sign with 8 corporate sponsors listed underneath. And they just got new turf, corporate sponsor, they got a beautiful baseball. I mean, we've got to start thinking in that way. Can't
So the
keep
only-
shelling out.
Problem I had with it, just going to Keystone and Shaw is, again, we have nothing to compare, so. I understand you're saying that
Yeah, that is.
it might not be it's not a one-to-one out there, quality turf or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but I still think we need something to compare to, and you could put the caveats in there of, hey, this guy might be cheaper, however,
Yeah.
this.
I mean, I could always just go to Field Turf too and do the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how anybody else in the community.
I mean, I agree with you, that's the negative to going that route.
Yeah.
Are those the only two plans?
Those are the two best ones. So once you start getting into like the AstroTurfs of the world and stuff like that, it's not as good of a product. Now, that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just they're not as good. They don't have the market share. They don't have, fields getting installed every year in this area. But certainly, I mean, we can stick with, I have it pretty much drafted and ready to go. We can certainly stick to that if that's what you want to do. But again, once you get it in, you have to really dig through those. It was just, I was struggling with trying to figure out how to write it to get an apples to apples comparison. And it just was clear to me that this may be a better way to go, but it doesn't mean, I'm not saying we have to do one or the other.
Sure.
I think there's definitely positives to doing the RFP. You get more players involved, more proposals, more price comparisons, stuff like that.
Did you check the local schools, like who did Perf out?
Bobby said everybody that got back to him was Keystone and Shaw. So that's what I mean. They have a good, they're in the area doing a lot of business.
Are the other vendors on CoStars?
Everybody's on something. They're either on CoStars or a source. They're either on CoStars or a national. Everybody's on something because that's how these things are all getting done. Because the last thing you want to do is bid on something like that.
Yeah.
Fox Pro's redoing theirs now. You know who's doing theirs?
I don't off the top of my head, but like I said, Bobby did say everybody that he talked to, as far as athletic directors said, it was Keystone or Shaw, and they all were happy with the product and happy with the installation, so.
I say go with the RFP.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me.
I'm fine with that.
Consensus.
All right.
Sorry.
No. I'm good either way.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Anything else on turf? All right. Move on to discussions or presentations, security. Anything on your
Yeah, I know there was one change at the 4-5 center, I believe. But we're fully staffed, everything's going well.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of move a couple people a little bit with
Yep.
somebody being out, but just replace on top of that.
And I think there's somebody out right now for a family matter, but they're covered, he's getting covered every day.
Has Carter Point come to us at all yet? Looking for a renewal?
No, but I think we have an option.
3+1 or 2.
3+1, and we're in 3, right?
I think so.
Oh, that's hard to do.
So, yeah, we have to
Drew,
review
you
that.
want to pull that contract when you get a chance to talk about it?
All right, feasibility study.
Yeah, I'm still working through that long-term plan. There's a lot there, but I'm working through it. I'm hoping to have that to you guys, I think November probably makes the most sense, the November Facilities Committee meeting, just while we get some of this other information in, but yeah, we're working through that right now.
And sorry, what is that relative to?
That's just all facilities-related items, so that you guys have a clear idea of what's out there. You know, right now, the biggest thing is trying to figure out the years of the age of our equipment, HVAC-wise. So one of our HVAC techs is working with me on that, digging through all the serial numbers to get that information. It's tedious. But that way I can just say to you, hey, you know, some of these, you know, we have this group of equipment that's 30 years old, it's gonna die soon, you know what I mean? And then, you know, in 5 years, I expect that we're gonna have, you know, a group of this, you know, we already have it on the roof side of things. I think we have a pretty good plan. But we don't have it on equipment, on vehicles. I'm talking maintenance vehicles. You know, even the maintenance equipment, you know, all that stuff, so lifts and everything.
I feel
Because a
like
lot was done in that GISA project, but
Yeah,
that was the big
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's a lot of other things that are gonna be coming up, so it's just plotting that and then, you know, budgeting for it.
As part of that, is there any, I'll throw my opinion out there, and feel free to agree, disagree. Should we start looking at the feasibility of selling the 4-5 center building? And what that looks like from the standpoint of, you know, how much does that cost to run per year now? And what it would look like having to shuffle everything around that we have to do. And let me make it clear, we're not saying sell it right now. We're just looking at every avenue possible to help.
I think that's a big discussion, because it's just, what do you do after that? You know, I'm not sure we really have the space in the elementaries to move them back.
That's a big
Do we know
discussion.
So
that
it's,
for
yeah,
sure?
it's what's that?
Do we know that for sure?
We don't know that for sure. We'd have to really look into that. But we can certainly look into, you know, we can get that information for
What
you.
was the decision, and I don't know who was here, but no one probably, to go from 2K5s to 2K3s? I'm assuming it was 900 kids in each school, bursting at the seams type of thing. So with that premise there, is that 4 going back and 5 going up? And then what that looks like at both the K3s as well as the middle school, changing that to a 5 to 8 type of building based upon that.
Well, it was 5 to 8 at the 4-5 center. It was 5 to 8 at some point. I remember one
But
of
not-
my kids went,
At some point, right, but
Yeah.
with the most recent change, to go to the current
Why
structure
was-
with 2K5s.
and why was that? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here, the decision was made,
Yeah.
decision was made to do that from bursting at the seams, you know, whatever that
Yeah.
piece is.
I mean, I know what we were told, but I
Yeah.
don't necessarily agree with that, so
It's
obviously. Yeah, I
So you wanna look
honestly,
at
it was
space?
never actually explained to anyone.
So you want to look at space and costs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know in the KCD study, they have, you know, percentage of what buildings are full at the time that we did
Yeah.
their study, so. that
Yeah,
might
but
be
then I
something.
think we added full-day kindergarten too. On
Right.
top of that.
Right.
And that didn't help the.
When
you
did
got
that
a lot of
happen?
extra space.
2 years ago?
No, it was longer than that.
It's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
The KCBA
Yeah.
study was
Oh, the KCB study.
that was 2 years ago.
That was 23.
Yeah.
So if the
Yeah.
full-day kindergarten might have already, I'd have
Oh,
to check,
yeah.
but full-day
Yeah.
kindergarten
Alright.
might already have been in place when they did that.
Can I ask you a question? Because
Yeah.
what was the original plan when the middle school was built?
6th, 7th, and 8th.
Okay, so it's, okay.
That was it. So somewhere floating in somewhere around is a plan to put another part on that building of 6th, 7th, and 8th for 5th grade. I've seen it with my own eyes.
On the new building.
On the middle school.
And
But-
like an additional wing building?
Yeah, coming out, like you're looking at the building and you have the main, right where you walk in, that grass patch in front of the gym. So you'd still have a walkway in front of the gym, but that building shoots out towards the parking lot.
Yeah.
Because each grade level at the middle school is about 12 homerooms in that range. They're roughly 10, 11, 12 homerooms. So we need that many classes plus that many special education classes, 2 to 3 per grade level. And then the impact on the special areas.
Right. Not to mention the fact that it already isn't, according to PDE, it's not a big enough property even for 6th, 7th, and 8th for a middle school. So it's supposed to have 32 acres according to PDE, and it only has a little over, not quite 12. So it impacts parking, which is already inadequate. It impacts the sprinkler system that moves all that water from underneath it when it'll eventually fall into the reservoir, because it's in a swamp, but,
Did we get bamboozled into that?
yeah, we sure did. Yep, we sure did.
Well, let's not go down that road again.
No, I know, I can't help it.
Why don't
though.
we,
It's just so
why
magical.
don't we take a look at the
But wait,
capacity of the
let's-
buildings?
Let's ask the next painful question, which will cause the administration in this room's heads to explode. The feasibility of getting rid of this building.
Well, wait a minute, you're jumping ahead.
Moving all those. moving all
What I was
those-
going to say is, let's take a look, because I wanted to expand upon what JP had started this off with. Well, let's take a look at the grade configuration, see if there is a way that we could get rid of the 4-5 center. See if we can dissolve some of the grades and distribute them across the elementary and the middle school, maybe even the high school if necessary, but I don't think that's completely possible there. But see if we can get rid of the 4-5 center, and then after that, take a look at, the admin building, if we can get rid of this, or if we can convert it into something else, if we have to deal with maybe freeing up space, such as the original purpose of this 20 years ago was bought for kindergarten, full-day kindergarten, implementing that. Maybe if we sell a 4-5 center and we convert this and we try to absorb our admin spaces into the other buildings, or even still reserve part of this for the admin, I don't know. But the biggest thing right now is trying to dilute that 4-5 center into the other buildings that we have, see what scenarios we can come up with, and then start moving forward from there.
Well,
Besides just the operational
We
costs.
also have to look at future enrollment projections, and your key is typically your kindergarten enrollment. So whatever your kindergarten enrollment is what you track for your,
And I think that the case
Increase or
study
decrease?
had that in there too.
Yeah,
The
they have-
projections of
They have projections, and it's,
Yeah.
it's
10 years out or something.
It's recent enough that, I think we can go off
So
of that.
work with that, yeah.
Yeah.
and I'll just say this, that this conversation as it evolves needs the input of the administration. Alan, I'd love to know what you think about all this. Drew, I'd love to know what you think,
Yeah, it doesn't
Mike,
need to just be a secret conversation of,
It's.
No, it cannot be a
No, it
secret
can't.
conversation, because that's what happened the last time, that's what
Yeah.
got us into this mess.
Yeah,
It was a
if we're
3-hour
way off
meeting.
base, then tell us.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how we're gonna survive in the future, and you all know the facts and figures, so.
Well, how about if we let Alan and the staff get together, start digesting some of this information, and we have another meeting at a later date, to where we can be better informed for everything.
Awesome.
yeah, I'd rather make a really good decision this time.
Because this is gonna tie into finance, Melanie. You're gonna
Yes,
have the
exactly.
same conversation in finance.
Yep.
Well, it goes back to the turf fields also, and
Yeah.
how we're going to fund those, so yes.
Yep.
So we need to take our time, I'm not saying drag it out over a period of years, but we need to take our time and do our due diligence and see what our possibilities are, and ask our professionals what we can do here. What they think is a great educational opportunity and financial opportunity for the district.
Yeah,
At the
we
same
can't just-
time, you know, I know you guys are sensitive to this community and the challenges ahead of us financially. So, you know, I just ask that you always bear that in mind.
As always.
Always right up there. But we also, as a board, can't just say, oh, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get rid of 4 or 5, and you guys deal with it. Because that's not,
Well, no,
that's not
of course
right
not.
either.
So we're gonna make
We
it
need to have
clear,
a
this-
community.
we're not saying do
No,
it.
no, no,
We're
no.
saying,
It's-
let's start the conversation, let's start looking at it logistically,
Just doing
and we'll
research.
go from there.
Yeah.
You only have 3 months to do it, right?
No.
Some of you. You'll get
Somebody
your
will
board
carry it
members.
on for me, I'm not worried. Okay,
So what does the committee want initially for us to prepare?
so I think it's basically looking at the pure student numbers to see, if, first of all, if we can move students to other buildings if we were to dissolve the 4-5. Is it putting 5th grade in the middle school and 4th grade back to Marlboro and Hereford? I don't know. Because if we don't have the space period, that kind of ends the conversation pretty quick.
Yeah, it does.
Then we're looking at this building.
Well, I will say it would not be cheap to renovate this building into
Oh,
a school.
no.
It would be,
No, not, that's, I don't think that's.
Nor
what you
might,
mean.
would it be cheap to renovate 4 or 5 to absorb the people in this building?
yeah. Yeah, it's all done,
There's gonna be costs, no matter how you slice it.
yeah.
So it's long range. What,
Oh, yeah.
what is more cost effective? To run these 2 buildings? And that's why I asked, what does it cost to run these buildings? On a daily or weekly or monthly basis? What's, you know, we gotta price everything out.
We can get that.
Yeah.
That's probably a good starting sign.
Yeah, space and cost to run,
Cost of operation.
cost of operation.
And what issues do we have with this building and that building that we have to fix? Because that's in the house, right?
That would, well, yeah, I mean, if you wanted, if you wanted to use this as a school, I mean, you're talking a complete renovation of,
But
you
then
know,
you need
of
a
the space.
cafeteria and a
You need a
gymnasium
cafeteria,
and-
playground.
Yeah,
You gotta roll it.
yeah, that's true, we're all gonna factor out. And we need lots of insurance, and
Then we
then,
put the kids elsewhere. If we can't, then it's like, all right, then what?
Yeah, we can get that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting a sense that they would, this was slated at one point to be a case center. I'm not getting that sense that
It
that's what
was.
it was. I think this would be a complete sell if that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting a
yeah, that's
sense
what I
of.
think.
If they- if
I
it
think
was
either
gonna-
way, it's a building, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Because
Just, I was saying, we used to rent that back when previous facilities manager, when John was here.
we used
Club
to,
or something. You
we
still
used to
do?
have cheerleading practice would go on back there, you
Yeah.
could hear it.
Still do.
When we were having meetings.
Oh, one, every
Still
day?
do it,
We're
yeah.
still-
Every time we had meetings, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, you could hear
I
back
just
there.
wondered, you know.
Well, if it's not feasible for a kindergarten, you know, we need to look and see, is it feasible to change it into anything that would be advantageous for us, or in the long run, dump it?
Yeah. Like a rental or something.
You know, if we could generate revenue by renting it out and still use it for some of our facilities needs. So I guess my viewpoint would be, you know, Alan would be responsible for talking with his staff to see how we could absorb the 4 or 5 center into the current
Yeah, if it's even possible.
elementary schools, middle school, and for Mike
I think there
to,
was some recommendations in KCBA for that exact scenario, but it would involve building on.
yeah,
You know, it talked about building.
operating expenses.
Yeah, it involves, I think, in addition to high school. Yeah.
So you're gonna work on the cost. I just put it on the agenda for, do happen to have an admin meeting tomorrow. So,
Great.
and as you know, these conversations that get out there that create panic
We know.
in the village.
That's why I keep saying.
It doesn't matter what you say. The
I know,
fact that
I know.
it's being said, it's fine. That's just.
You reinforce it that, you know, the facilities
Yeah,
committee
no, this is
and
our
the
job.
finance
We have to see
committee
the
are
plans that we-
looking at how to optimize our space and be more fiscally responsible with our expenses.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, so let's talk about something where we did save some money.
Yeah.
The
Giza study.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
So Alan had asked me to pull this for you guys. So we are in year 3 of that project, the monitoring side of that project, I should say. So our contract is 3 years for them to monitor our savings. For year 1, the total savings was $106,697. It exceeded the projections. And year 2 was
Sorry, how much?
Why is this not on there?
Or is it the last column?
It exceeded by about 5,000. And this year was 108,870, and it exceeded about 5,000 again. So that's a total in those 2 years of $215,567. Again, we're in year 3 of that. After year 3, we can either pay more money for them to monitor it, or
Just glad we get the savings.
just stop monitoring it and not know what our savings are, but with the
Have 3
under,
years worth of data to say.
to say we're saving money. So I think that probably makes the most sense. We can talk about that when it gets closer. Because when I talked to Provident, they said it's about $15,000 a year for them to tell you that you're saving 100. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I'll do it for 10.
But that is, I mean, that's good data. That's over $100,000 every year
Yeah.
in savings there, so. I think
Took that
that's a
towards
great
the
thing.
turf.
Yeah. Where did it go? For other things?
Just decreased our operational
Yeah.
expenses.
Well-being.
Yeah.
Yep,
All right, great. That's a good one, so
yeah,
thank you.
that is,
Uh,
thank you for getting those numbers. I
Yep.
appreciate hearing that.
And I can update it when we do get year 3. I can make sure that we update
That'd be
that.
great.
All right, summer 2026 roof bids.
That's just kind of to let you know that that's out there. That's planned. That's part of the plan that was in place when I started. We have all the documents. We're ready to bid. I would think we're probably going to go out to bid January sometime.
I would say January.
January is probably the best because you get ahead of everybody else that waits a little longer. So that's out there. And that is a lot of high school roof replacement, which is very much needed.
And you'll see on the agenda Thursday night, the Finance Committee approved the $200,000 transfer to the Capital Reserve Fund, which was discussed in Finance maybe a year ago, to sort of self-pay for these projects. To every year put $200,000 in there, and after 5 years, plan is, then all that money will cover all these projects with the money that's in the Capital Reserve.
Thanks, Trey. Okay.
Is that mostly high school? Is that like the middle section?
It's
and the-
mostly high school. It's a lot of the middle section,
Yeah.
yes, and then some outliers. I should say, I do want to add in, Marlboro has like a skylight dome that currently has a tarp on it, and it's taped up. It's a bigger issue than just replacing the dome. It's leaking from underneath, so it needs to be investigated more. But if possible, I'd like to add that into that bid for next year too. Because when you walk through it and you look up, I mean, you see the tape, you see, it's clear plastic, but you see the tape holding it down. It's really not a good look. And really something that we should fix.
How do you fix that, Mike? Do you just like replace it, or do you?
Well, you replace it, but they have to figure out where it's anchored in, what else is wrong.
Yeah.
It's, because they've tried to fix it, and but it's not just the dome, it's actual where it connects to the roof. So I think they have to take the whole thing out and basically rebuild it.
Yay.
And it's in a spot where you really, I think if you just didn't put a skylight in, you lose a lot of natural light in that hallway, so. Yeah.
Speaking of Marlboro, the butterfly sanctuary request.
Are they gonna pass for it?
Are nets included?
The Parks Department came to us. They want to put a butterfly garden in on their side. So if you, at Marlboro, on the back road there by the playground, right across that street, there's like an open, area, not a lot of
The
trees.
nature center, right?
Yeah, well, it's part of that. They want to build a butterfly sanctuary. It'd be fenced in. It would not be like they're not raising butterflies. It's to attract butterflies. So it would just be a fence. The issue is part of it is on our property. Not a lot, most of 90% of the sanctuary would be their property, but part of it is on ours. And our concern was parking. So they've determined they want to use, there's a parking lot in the back there. They want to use that and really make that the parking lot for the butterfly
Pretty
sanctuary.
shady parking lot back there.
It is not the best parking lot.
Levels, and I drove back there after you
Our,
told me about it.
our wastewater plant's back there. It's not the best parking lot.
Is it our parking or theirs?
It's theirs. My main concern was our parking, with school students and stuff like that.
The trailer park side.
So basically, the fence would have a gate on our side and a gate on the other side and a path leading down to that parking lot. The question is, are we comfortable with it? I know the principal at Marlboro thinks it's a great idea. I think it's a good idea if the logistics make sense. Our students could have, and teachers could have full access to it at any time. So if they want to do a class out there or whatever it may be.
Does everybody know where we're talking about?
I'm confused on the parking lots.
All right, so if you're at Marlboro and you're leaving Marlboro and you're on that long road and
That
the
goes to the trailer park.
school's on your right and the playground is on your right, as you're driving, this is off the left, so it looks like shrubbery right now. But if you go to the end of that street, down the bottom, make a left where it looks like there's a gate to get into the Green Lane Park, let's say. You drive back there and make another left, that's where this parking lot is, all different levels and, in that way there. So you had said there would be a pathway from the driveway leaving for school people to get to that if they wanted to, and then from the other side. So right now it's just uncut, or there's some cut, but it looks like it's pretty raised up.
Yeah, they have to do a lot of work too, and they have to bring in certain types of shrubbery and stuff to attract butterflies. They also are willing to put up signs making it clear that where to go, where to park, so that we don't have people on our property during school hours. I will say the wastewater plant is on their property. We don't own that area that the wastewater's on. So we do, that's just an agreement that's been in place for a long time.
Yeah, we're gonna make us.
No, absolutely not, but that's just another, just
Yes,
piece
we're having a
to it.
butterfly sanctuary.
Sounds like a barter.
Yeah.
I mean, we can also, if they want to do it on their property, we can't stop them. We can also say, we just don't want you to use that section of our property. Do you know what I mean?
They gotta maintain that section.
That's
on our-
yeah, they would have to maintain everything.
We don't do anything or maintain it now, right?
No.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's,
I'm fine with it myself,
Okay.
personally.
Would it create, I'm concerned about after hours, would it create an attractive nuisance to our property and, be the danger that there would be graffiti or damage or anything like that?
they're locking it and unlocking it at night. So somebody would have to jump the fence, and right now, they could just walk out there anyways. So I don't know, it's not like, I don't think this is like an attraction like that.
It's not
There's gonna be a
a
path,
structure.
there's gonna be a path, a couple benches, but there's not gonna be any structures, any pavilions or anything like that.
Do you think we need to put any signage up that, and I don't know what it would say, but.
Caution, butterflies ahead.
Watch out for. Well, actually, will there be access during school hours, it's kind of like.
There will be, and that's why my biggest concern is parking and access.
Yeah.
But they really want to try to have people go to that back parking lot and access it that way.
So
Like
that
even-
signage, I guess, is what I'm talking about.
they said they would put up signage for us, yep.
The challenge there is just that Marlboro, as you already know, there's people that, it says don't park here to walk on Green Lane, and they park right there and walk right through.
Absolutely.
That's, I was just gonna bring
But that's on the
that up.
upper side, that's on the
Yeah.
by where
That's on the
teachers park.
incoming.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the pavilion? Is that still, did that get?
It's on hold for right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have any rough diagrams?
No,
Okay.
I can do it for you real quick.
What are these things? They have wings?
I mean, we can certainly ask them.
It's my proposal.
I don't think I have an issue with it.
I don't think I'd have an issue with it, you know, and maybe if we have a problem with people parking up there to go to Green Lane in the current parking lot during the day, maybe we start trying to enforce that somehow. You know, for the people that come in while the kids are in school, and if they're walking down to Green Lane, we shouldn't have people like that during the school day there, you know, but
There also is a parking lot up there too, that's their parking lot, right at the top of Marlboro. So if anybody is
But
going.
it's further back.
Yeah, it's further back, but they have to come in through,
Yeah, but I'm talking if they're parking up towards the
yeah.
entrance by the school itself and not coming into the school, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint
It's
quite a few
difficult,
times.
yeah.
From people.
No, let's put that on. I wouldn't have a problem with the butterfly. We'd have to address parking later on.
Okay.
Appropriate signage.
Do you think the county would give us a donation?
Probably not.
Well, it's still got a paperwork drawn up, I'm sure they have to have something.
Yeah, I think we'll have to discuss that.
Reflecting our taxes.
That needs to be on them to present something to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
not, you know, our lawyer.
Yeah, that makes
They would,
sense. Yeah, that makes
they would
sense.
put that together, an agreement of some sort, or.
Yeah, since they're using our property.
Hold harmless.
Okay, missing grow lights?
So at the 4-5 center in the flight room, which is one of the roofs that was replaced, that's where the skylights were that we were waiting on. There, they had grow lights to grow plants and whatnot. So they had 2 big lights and a controller. Those have gone missing. So I did some digging as much as I could. The roofers never accessed that area, at least that's what they're telling me. And I do know our staff went into, because a lot of stuff had to get covered up and whatnot. Our staff did that. Our staff doesn't know where these things are. They're very big, so anyone that took them down, it's not like a one-man job. It's 2-3 people. Obviously, we had the roofers there through the whole summer. You know, they've asked around, you know, I can't really go back to them to say, hey, these are, you know what I mean, these are missing without concrete proof. I tried to do some investigation on the cameras, and I mean, that's just 3-4 months worth of time. I don't, you know what I mean? So at this point, I mean, we can't find them. I've looked around. It's not like 4-5 Center has a ton of storage that they could have been taken down. So at this point, I mean, my opinion would be that we need to buy them for them. I've talked to Drew about that, where we would charge that. But unfortunately, that's just, you know, that's just,
Do we have a cost?
it's about $3,000.
So we didn't call the cops or anything, we didn't do any police investigating or?
I don't know, like, I mean, I guess we could. I talked to Rodney about it. I mean, it's just digging through the camera system for 3 months, 4 months would be,
$3,000?
yeah,
As when are they there and when aren't they there?
we don't know.
Want me to send my son?
They were there at the end of school and they weren't there first week of school.
Somebody definitely swiped this.
But it has to
Somebody's
be.
selling those.
And if they were that big, someone would have had to have a truck.
Yeah.
I wonder
Oh,
if
yeah,
that
they
was.
were, they were big.
Anybody there with a truck over the summer?
No.
Just 1 or 2 people.
Just a few roofers.
I mean, I can talk to Rodney again about it, but I just. in the
Just ask for a list of
transparency.
personnel, see if anybody started a personal.
I wish we would have filed a police report.
Or maybe
Yeah.
we won't know. It was a secret grow operation.
Put it at
Just
it.
keep showing up.
Does anybody have a?
For now, get the replacements and then we can discuss how far you want to
Just
go.
don't take any donations from anyone for it, like we had at Lions.
If you buy it on
Just
Amazon
saying.
Marketplace, make sure you ask questions.
Yes, and don't leave them on it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Any public comment?
I have,
Oh,
Go ahead.
so I want to circle back to financing externally. And you talked about in policy, we're going to look at developing policies or reviewing policies and systems for gift acceptance. For a gift, we need a formal gift agreement that anyone would sign. What's the foundation's role in this? Proposals have to be written, and who's going to present them to these corporations? There has to be a plan, a strategic plan to do this. We can't just do it haphazardly.
That's what you and I are gonna work with the foundation on, with Luann and with Jess. Keep those questions ready to go.
Also, that's going to be addressed in the policy meeting coming
Those questions
up.
are always at the top of my mind because, you know, in my other life that I'm dealing with right now, I'm developing a national strategy for fundraising. It has to be strategic, and we have to know, what are we going to ask Miller Knoll for?
Yeah, that's.
You know, we have to align the sponsor with whatever they're interested in. I mean, Miller Knoll is not interested in fields, but they could be interested in casework or furniture or whatever it is that we need
Or
to
a
buy.
band truck. A band truck.
Or a band truck. You know, it's all the things that, the wish list that we have to develop, and then trying to align those sponsors, those partnerships with what they're interested in.
And that's exactly what Luann and I talked about the last time she and I spoke, and she, you know, how organized she is. And it's having that priority list.
The priority list.
And trying to maybe have an offshoot of the foundation for athletics. And, but again, it's
But
just
it has
conversation
to-
right now, Leah.
It has to be.
We have to meet with
It
them.
has to be, and we, you know, we know it takes time, but we also have a sense of urgency because we're in a deficit.
Well, yeah.
And we have all of this stuff that has to be done for the safety
We
of
have
our
to,
kids.
we have to,
So,
you know.
So do we make an ad hoc committee for corporate sponsorship?
I don't want to call it
or-
ad hoc, I think it has to be a task force, because I think this is whole community. This is community. Because if
So,
you're gonna
but does
bring in
the-
businesses.
But does the ask come from the board?
Well, Actually, is that
just
a discussion for
somebody
this
wanting-
committee, or is this a discussion for the workshop?
Good question.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would think it's a discussion for the workshop, because, you know, that's going to be combining a couple of the committees, the facilities, the finance, the policy.
Yep.
So you might as well have all the stakeholders there,
Yeah,
so we can hash it out in one night instead of coming back another time, at another meeting, at another committee.
yeah.
And we don't have to end board meetings or workshops in an hour.
Hey,
You know, say,
I
go till
simply-
midnight.
I simply go through the agenda. If we spend time on the discussions or great presentations by our administration, you know, that's wonderful. But we spend as much time as we need to in our board and our workshop meetings, you know.
Yeah.
I simply expedite the agenda
voting.
items. You know, I hope, I know
Well,
somebody
bring
will
time to that conversation.
I just hope we find somebody that can take your place when you leave.
The work.
So we have to do is say
Foundation,
second.
right? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. Peg, did you?
Yeah, I would like to know the status of the auction.
I'm waiting until the casework's done, because, and the furniture, because there's a lot of stuff from the high school that will have to come over here. I also didn't want to shortchange us by getting rid of stuff that we may need. So I would think the auction is probably more looking like springtime. But that's definitely big on my radar, because we need space.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get, I don't know how much, but we'll get some money back,
Yeah.
which is a plus. But the space is really, I mean, and we keep filling up the rink right now in preparation of an auction,
Saying you're
so.
400 at the high school.
Well, and that's something we have to go down and look at too, because that's
That's scary.
there's a lot down there that we have to dig through, so. But yeah, I was hoping to have that done by now, but then with the casework happening the way it happened, it just,
I just need to know it's moving.
oh, absolutely.
Okay. Splendid. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Not to bring up an old horse, but I talked a couple times about that spot near the walk and what you wanted to do.
We're gearing up to out front. We're gearing up to do, we're just waiting on a couple signs to come in, and we're gonna do the handicap spots out front of the high school. That spot that you were talking about, I don't think we can add a handicap spot in there. I was down there looking at it.
It's because track runs up there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I think it's white striped off for a reason.
Could we get it repainted then? Because you can't, it was Xed out originally, and it's all faded.
Yeah, it's,
So people are using that for a spot.
oh, well, that's, yeah, then
Yeah.
we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, whether they will or not, but
Yeah.
that's, if handicap's not the option, then
Yeah,
nix it altogether.
yeah, we can paint that easily.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that at the same time that we do
Yeah.
the spots out front. But we need to get those spots in there before
Too cold.
theater and stuff,
Yeah.
the big events. So,
Propane next to the spray.
Any comments from committee?
I have one, just one item. The board got an email the other day from a mom / soccer coach from Valley Soccer that they use Marlboro's field, and she said it needed to be regraded, and they wanted lights, and they wanted access to go back. So I tried to nicely say that, it's not really a soccer field. No, I don't think she liked my answer too much, but I tried to be nice about it. That they
You were.
I thought it was nice
You
about
were.
it. It took me 2 days to answer that, because I really had to think it through. Because, with all the other things that we have to do, that was not on the top priority of the list.
yeah, I think we would only be able to do that if our students were using
That's,
that
yeah,
area.
yeah, I got you.
So
Well,
Valley's using part of Marlboro? Is that what you
They
said?
just
They
claim
rent it
it.
as part of use of facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So just
It's
granite?
just not ready for improvements on that.
Yeah.
You're not ready to put the turf in Marlboro.
Exactly.
It's what they wanted to do with the lights here, and next that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's.
I don't think,
No.
I don't think she knew anything about that.
But to that point, though, I think that I'm very involved in Valley Soccer. My husband's a coach of multiple teams, and so like I'm biased on this for sure. But they would be really happy to partner with the school in a lot of different ways to pay for field uses. And I think that they've discussed looking for space at the high school, which is just not available. Sometimes they move over from Marlboro, like they're gonna move over to the side fields at the high school because they have the lights. But I think that it's not worth, like, I understand our limitations, but I think it's not worth dismissing in entirety because they would like to pay the school for space, they'd like to keep it there. And secondly, these are the students that are directly coming
Yeah, I
to our
know.
high school.
We've heard
We
it.
heard that.
We've heard it.
We hear it from other groups.
Yeah.
We just can't be
I know.
the end all. for
Well, actually,
everyone.
we've had
Yeah.
Valley Soccer come and propose lights and things like that, and we'd like to work with them, but we have to say, we have limitations to how much we can do, and we'll try and do as much as we can, is the simple answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that my kid, we've had many accidents at Marlboro from like a younger kid perspective, I'll say that much. There's no bathrooms there, so.
Oh, that kind of accident.
Kids are
Okay.
playing, no, like when kids are
What
playing.
are you talking about?
But when you have like 6 and 7-year-olds who are out there for over
Gotta
an
go,
hour,
gotta
I feel
go.
that's
Yeah.
becomes
I know.
problematic. I've had plenty of positive personal experiences with that. It's been great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Anything
just
else?
wanted to bring that to the attention,
Thank
just
you.
to make sure that I followed through and said I would mention it.
Thank you.
Just to follow up, Carver Point was a 3-year contract that ended will end June 30, 2026, and it has an optional 4th-year renewal. But there's no details on what that 4th year entails, so I think we'd have to open up a conversation.
See, free.
Yeah.
Buy 3, get 1 free. I like it.
Okay, thank you, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
Anything else? Okay, look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.